So you are being recorded now. And just ask that you wait to be recognized. If you want to speak, you can raise your hand, and we will, at the appropriate time, identify you. You do not need to be using your video. So that's something that maybe sometimes people find it a little distracting. So you could just be listening, and then when you're ready, you raise your hand. Before I go further, I see Mr. Orville Melville that has a hand raised. Is that a mistake, or you want to share something, Mr. Melville?
That's a mistake. Sorry about that.
Okay. All right. So you can just lower your hand then, please. All right. So we are blessed. Let me just say quickly that I am Trevor Smith. So I am to the right here, and I will be riding shotgun with our, maybe I shouldn't use that kind of analogy at all. I'll be supporting Brother Andre tonight as he leads us in this very, very interesting thing. Am I the victim or victimizer in my relationship? So you can see Brother Andre's profile on screen. I would just like to share that Brother Andre has been a very devout Christian for many, 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 many years. He's also one of our leading counseling psychologists. This is a gentleman who actually brings both of those factors into play and is active across the nation and internationally, bringing those insights to make a difference in people's lives. That's the key for me. Whatever else he has done, etc., it is his passion for identifying issues in lives and working to sort them out from a unique perspective, because I think the blending of his training with his commitment to being aligned with the Word of God makes a difference in how he impacts lives. None of that is part of the script, but that is my understanding of my relationship, long-term relationship with my brother. So I'm just going to turn over to him now, stop rambling so that we can get going. Brother Andre, over to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for that introduction. And I'm going to say that you're going to be sitting right beside me as we make this presentation. Notwithstanding, let me see if we can bring it up. I'm not seeing it as yet, and then we will get started. You know, this is a very interesting subject matter. Am I the victim or the victimizer in my relationship? And to a large extent, one of the reasons why, we have chosen a subject matter of this kind, it is because, and especially, in my profession, we see, wow, I mean, we see too many, what do you call it now? Too many issues, too many problems in relationships. Now, we use the word relationships here, notwithstanding, we are speaking primarily from a marriage relationship, but it is not. But the things that we're sharing spans relationships across the board, and we hope that what we are putting here, yes, while the primary context is marriage relationships, What we are also saying here, though, that some of the other things that we will be sharing and discussing definitely will be speaking to where other relationships, it can impact other relationships too. And we hope that what we have to offer, again, will be able to identify whether or not persons find themselves as a victim or victimizer in their own relationships. Are you able to bring up the slide, Brother Smith?
You want me to bring it up?
Yeah, I can't bring it up from where I am. I didn't get to
Okay.
it. Right.
Okay. All right. Let me just see. 1 second.
Okay. So while that is being done, let me kind of go through the introduction to an extent. Now, we're not certain if this is going to only last this week, or we might end up doing it, having a part 2 to this, but we will see how things unfold. Please reserve your questions. Ask all questions if you can, but do ask your questions, and you know, we will see how best we can deal with those questions. As the picture there unfolds, you know, if you look at one side, one picture, you see where this little boy, you know, clearly would look like he's a victim. But if you look closely into the picture underneath it, you see that he's the one that basically has the shoe on his face. And so the idea here is that sometimes, you see, folks, you know, we looking from through one mirror, you might believe that somebody's being victimized. But sometimes when you see into a different context, you realize that, hold on a minute, man, maybe persons are making decisions and choices that really put themselves in a victimized position. And so that's what we want to an extent, unearth here. Now, we are not able to, I'm going to say this, we're not going to be able to tell you in every situation that you are being victimized, or that the choices you have made, by extension, you know, you are causing yourselves to be victimized. So not in every situation or every case we'll be able to be very clear and forthright where that is concerned. Notwithstanding, though, we hope that some of the information we will share with you, that you will be able to say to yourself, hold on a minute, did I make the right choice? Did I make the wrong choice? You know, or is it that boundaries clearly have been violated? You know, so that's what we want to look at. Let me look at the introduction here now. You know, what you said to me, you know, made me act that way. You hit me, you shove me, you push me, and the key term here is to. So everybody's going to feel like, hey, listen, I have a position, and I can return the favor, because it's not me alone that do this thing here. I am also a victim here. So pardon me if I decide to push back. Pardon me if I decide to push back. And not only pardon me, I don't know if you have a place to quarrel with me since I push back. I see somebody put it up right there, 2 wrongs don't make a right. And that is so true. But unfortunately, see, and we can go down further, but unfortunately, many times people are able to recognize, you know, are able to recognize that their relationship is unhealthy or even abusive. But quite a number of persons also believe that the abuse exists, not necessarily on both ends, but on the other hand, on the other end rather, or at minimum that both persons are at fault. So although I have there both ends, I'm kind of changing the narrative there. I am saying here that a number of folks oftentimes believe that they are the victims, right? And so they are the ones who are being abused, and so want the other person to stop. Only in a very minimal way, though, you do find where folks might say, hey, no. Both of us are at fault here. And even sometimes when people say both of us are at fault, the truth is somebody still, nobody doesn't get equal share. It's not a 50-50. somebody still believe that, yeah, man, I am more the victim over here, even although we must share aspects of the blame, so to speak. So the question that confronts us is who is right and who is really the victim or the victimizer. Now, while there are some clear boundaries that, if violated, would identify the victimizer, a vast number of persons in their marriages and relationships have contributed to their own victimization. Now, we don't want to hear that, but the fact is, folks, it is true. And we're not trying to marginalize anyone else here, but the fact is, a number of persons have done so. Now, the question is, how is this done? How is this done? So our first thing that we want to put there is the idea that people complain that they did not sign up for this, especially in marriages or any kind of relationship, especially when problems start to be unearthed, so to speak. A lot of folks say, listen, I didn't sign up for this. What is going on? What am I seeing? What am I experiencing? And unfortunately, they are hearing the lies. They are hearing the shouting, the name calling. That's what they are hearing. They're hearing the expletives, the verbal and emotional and physical abuse. That's what they're hearing, and that's what they're experiencing. The disappointments, the broken promises, the unfulfilling of gender roles continue to plague persons' relationships. And so at this point in time, as a result of this, understandably so, many folks are saying, listen, I did not sign up for this. And because they did not sign up for this, folks, guess what happened? It is at this point, before we reach that slide, it is at this point where some feel or even wonder if they have been deliberately fooled or bamboozled. Have I been victimized? Did I not see this coming, so to speak? It is at this point where people will say, boy, love is really blind. And because love is really blind, guess what happened, folks? I want out. I want out. I didn't sign up for this. What is going on? I feel like I'm the victim here. This person have taken off their mask. I'm seeing some things in this person or from this person that I'm saying, no, why is only after we connect and we have made so much investment in each other? No, these things are being unearthed. Why? No. I'm not getting bothered with this. And folks, believe you me, I'm in the profession literally that, it is plagued with persons who are complaining that they are the ones who are being victimized in their relationships, literally, because nobody, and you know what, and nobody comes, literally they don't come to me and say, oh, I want out of my relationship because I am the victimizer. I mean, for real, I don't know, I'm just saying I'm not experiencing it, okay? Sometimes people come to acknowledge that they have done wrong, but not many persons come in and say, I am the victimizer, so I want out, okay? Or come to counseling to admit that they are the victimizers. And so what am I saying here to you, folks, is the fact that once you feel that somebody is saying or doing something that you did not only you did not see it coming, so to speak, you were blindsided to a point, to an extent, then understandably so. I'm not saying you are right, I'm not saying you're wrong, I'm just saying understandably so. At that point in time, oftentimes folks says, listen, I want out. Unfortunately, this rough beginning in many relationships can take years to fix because expectations, trust, and the thought of being deceived has now become an individual's reality and by extension context. So as the victim, I need to plan an exit strategy, so to speak. Watch this now. It's not only the fact that I want to plan an exit strategy, but even if my victimizer changes, wow. See, in other words, my point is, you feel so much like the victim. We feel so much like the victim that even if the victimizer decides that they are going to change, no, for many persons, the wounds are just too deep. And for some of them, and they would always say that there is some things that they do not plan to forgive a person for. So they have already made up their minds that not only have I not signed up for this, but I don't care. Once bitten, twice shy. I'm not going to give you a second opportunity to say or to do things that is so disturbing to me. I did not sign up for this. I feel like I am the victimizer. Now I know what the question is, and you can write it down. And maybe Brother Smith can answer it, or maybe I can help you with the question. And here's the question. So what do you do if this is a part of your reality, where yes, you did not sign up for this, and the person is showing parts or showing aspects of their lives that really and truly it just don't look good, it don't feel good. Why would you want to encourage someone to stay? And beautiful question, and I'm not ready to answer it yet. Or maybe Brother Smith want to answer it, he can.
No, I don't want to deal with it. I want to ask a question, a different question. I don't want to throw you off your length. You're going wonderfully well. But
Okay,
as you're
go ahead.
And you're speaking about this, and you're setting it up, and the context is primarily marriage. But I'm looking at parent-child. I'm looking at older sibling, younger sibling, and I could see that this could be happening, or the reverse, that there is potential outside of the marriage situation. You have said it, that there's potential, but that is what is striking me, that a child could have a serious problem with a parent who is sort of victimizing them, maybe with good intentions, etc. So that I'm just in my mind, and maybe there are people that are listening that are not married now, but might be in a similar situation where this is happening to them in a very real way. Yeah. So I'm sorry.
No. Excellent.
Just it hit me in the face that, yeah, but this is reality.
Right.
People
Excellent.
are living reality outside of marriage, outside of,
Right. And the truth is this,
even work. And you're going to say, boy, leave the job. But you think it's so easy to get a job now? Anyway, sorry, sir.
No, man. I'm not certain I have the answer. But what I would say, folks, what we are saying here, though, and I want you to really catch this, is that man, suppose I feel like the victim. Suppose this is my reality. I'm in a relationship with somebody, and for crying out loud, what do I do? I might be engaged to this person, and I see that some of these things are being unfolded. What do I do? Do I run, or do I stay, or do I fight it out? What do I do? Some people can say, some folks say run, right? For some folks, because of the nature of the relationship, take for example, and I'm going to go here, we can go possibly a little lower in age, but even say teenagers, because I use the word teenagers because it is oftentimes at that phase and stage, parenting can be very, very challenging. I don't wish to say it. Parenting can be very challenging, and so you are so correct, Brother Smith, that even with the fact that I did not sign up for this, the fact that, hey, these things are being unfolded in our relationship, what do I do? Do I stay? Some relationships, it is easy for you to make a decision and go. For some relationships, it is not so easy. I have to stay. And bear, I have to take less until I can get more. I have to pretty much bear the pain, because if I leave, who's going to take care of me? What am I going to do? And so, unfortunately, you do have a lot of folks who find themselves in abusive relationships. They did not sign up for this. This is not what they expected. You're supposed to be a father. You're supposed to be a mother. I did not expect this kind of behavior from you. And of such, believe you me, I need to run, but I do not know where or who to run to. And so as a result of that, I feel trapped into this relationship. What do? I did not sign up for this. Now that this is my reality, what must I do? So I'm not saying we're able to answer all your questions again, but please put them down there. Maybe part 2 we get into discussing in some clear format as to giving some good responses to some of these questions. Notwithstanding, my next point. Not only I did not sign up for this, but remember, we are discussing, am I the victim or the victimizer in my relationship? And so feeling sorry for myself. While everyone at some time needs someone to feel sorry for them, what if that person does not choose to feel sorry for you? And Brother Smith, what if they don't feel sorry for you? Don't you see where you set up yourself to really feel like a victim? Because you are clamoring for words like, I am sorry. Osh, I didn't mean it. I will do better next time. You're clamoring for those to hear those things. But instead, what you're probably hearing is a good. You deserve it. And you better don't do it again. Talk to me. Feeling sorry for yourself. Any comments on that?
All right. Can I ask people again to keep their mics muted? Yeah, that happens. That's the problem where you want remorse. People live off remorse. They feel at least the person recognizes that they have done something wrong. They feel sorry about it. They're apologetic. And by the way, it's not every expression of remorse is accepted. You know, people can look at you and say, "Boy, you never really mean it. You know, really look like you're sorry, no matter how you protest that you are sorry." So yeah, and then of course, that adds to it. Then is that not only am I hurt, but the person doesn't even recognize that they need to feel some remorse about it, because what that suggests is that it's going to come again. You know, because if I did it and I'm not sorry about it, then I can expect them to do it again. So that's part of it.
Excellent. Here is a in the same context. What if the person does not feel sorry for you? Here is the next, my point. Then you would have made yourself available to be taken advantage of. That person now, to an extent, has the power to determine your happiness and or your pain. And so you see, the truth is, feeling sorry for yourself on one hand can make you be a whole lot more prone to feeling to become a victim. But on the other side of the coin, you know, if you don't feel sorry for you, who can feel sorry for you? And therefore, you see, but does feeling sorry for me, should it therefore now mean that I can't do anything about it? Should it now mean that I'm so trapped that boy, I need this person to say and to do something to relieve me of this pain? And then here's the next thing. We have to be very careful that the same situation or person that may, key term here is may, that may have victimized us, is the same person going to folks to ask to ush you. You know, sometimes, you know, I really want, it's the same person that we need to hear, I am sorry from them, so to speak. Somebody might say, what's wrong with that? And I'm saying, okay then. But I'm also saying, suppose them, they don't ush you. Don't you say that you make yourself even a whole lot more vulnerable? And so maybe, just maybe, feeling sorry for yourself really, by the way, gives you the energy to do something positive about the way you are feeling. Therefore, you may need to feel, or therefore you feel like you're the victim in your relationship because you are relying on your partner to make you feel better. maybe all I'm saying here is that when you feel sorry for you, do something about it. Yeah, you hush yourself. Maybe say, I'm going to the person who victimized you to ask them to hush you or to say sorry. I'm saying maybe you might put yourself in worse situation. Maybe not. Remember the key word is maybe. But let's say you try that and it's not forthcoming. Then I am saying to you, say, it is important for you to feel good about, listen, I'm going to hush me. If you're in pain, you have to see yourself and take yourself out of the pain, You have to be careful that you don't ask people permission to relieve you of pain. You have to just be careful that you don't ask people what permission to relieve you of pain. If I don't know if you can see my hand. If you're sticking me with a pen or a pin, and there are two ways for me to relieve myself of the pain, I can ask you to stop, or I can remove my hand. See, folks, sometimes we rely too heavily on asking people to stop, rather than recognizing that I can move my hand. Now, don't move your hand and remain bitter. Remove your hand and become better. Am I the victim or the victimizer in my relationships? My next point or slide, unless Brother Smith, you have something you want to say on that. You're paranoia. And boy, I don't know. This one is a big challenge. And Brother Smith, I need your support on this one here. But you're paranoia. The paranoid person. Let me just give you a little working example of what the paranoid person does. The paranoid person, folks, is consumed by anticipation of betrayal. I want you to catch that word. It is consumed by what? Anticipation of betrayal. It doesn't end there. They search for hidden meanings in not just in some things, but in everything, and they read hostile intentions into the actions of others. Now, how do you have a wholesome relationship with somebody if you are paranoid, or if your partner is paranoid, or if your boss is paranoid, or if your friend is paranoid? I mean, how do you do that? Don't you see that either you set up yourself to be a victim? I mean, if I am paranoid, let's just do the role play here now, right? If I am paranoid, I mean, how do I have even any kind of any resemblance of a relationship that might even look good? You know, system always I suspect you. And because of that approach, don't you see that I feel like I'm the victim, because I'm watching to see if you are going to do something wrong or bad to me. Remember, I read hostile intentions in your actions. So all we do the good thing and the right thing and say, look, do you see it? You see it? So not only do I feel like I'm the victim if I'm paranoid, what about you? I am frustrating the Jesus out of you. Right? I'm just frustrating the Jesus out of you. I mean, what? You can't do nothing right. You can't do nothing right. And even with your best efforts, you're like, listen, because remember now, don't forget it here now, it is the person is consumed by anticipation of betrayal. They see something and they say, see it there, same thing. And so they feel like they are the victims. And because they feel like they are the victims, I have to go, I have to leave. And they tell everybody how they have been victimized by this person. And the poor person is on the other end is like, really? When in truth and in fact, it is the paranoid person who's possibly even victimizing them, although they feel victimized. The paranoid person, I think I have more notes on this. The paranoid person is unwilling to forgive. And I want you to catch the term right here. Perceived insults, folks. Perceived and willing to forgive. So at them carry belly. At them carry belly. Perceived insults. Relentlessly suspicious. And they shift the blame to other people and tend to carry long grudges. See, not only are they putting themselves in the victimized role, they are even victimizing themselves. Not only have they put themselves in the victimized position, but they are also what? Victimizing themselves. They're doing the two things one time. And it doesn't end there. And then by extension, still blame you for the position that they find themselves into. I mean, wow. How do you survive this? I don't have the answer. I don't have the answer. The paranoid person is combative and has a tenacious adherence to personal rights, but must. It is therefore safe to say that being paranoid can either make you a victim or make you feel victimized in your relationship. Again, that's why I said, ask your question, put it out there right now, because the strong possibility exists that we may not be able to answer some of those or all of those questions today, but the next session, we want to dedicate towards answering as many questions as possible, because I do not think that some of the questions is just a quick fix, not at all. So we want to dedicate some time, but we want to whet your appetite though with this presentation, because we believe it has affected relationships, at all stages, at different stages of a person's life and living. Any comments, Brother Smith?
Yes, definitely.
Go ahead.
Interesting. So we had a session with Cool FM on Thursday night, where we were looking at the 12, what we call them the dirty dozen root causes of conflict. Yeah, so we looked at 12 root causes of conflict, general conflict, whether it is in relationships, etc. And one of them, we didn't call it paranoid, but it's low self-esteem, which basically is aligned to what we're talking about here, where persons with low self-esteem manifest a lot of these issues that we're seeing here, where consistently they question everything. No matter if you reach out to help, it's as if, so what, you don't think that I'm worthy. It's just an ongoing challenge to have anything positive come out of your actions. So in a sense, yes, they feel that the world is against them, so they are victims, just generally. Rain fall when they don't want it to fall. That is just how life is there. And so it's a serious problem. But the issue now that you are raising as well is not only do they always feel like a victim, but because of the guilt that they are trying to put on you, they are in fact victimizing you, so that you really don't feel comfortable. You have to sit down and work out. Maybe you have to get a computer to calculate what is it do I say to this person now that doesn't trigger this response, or that's part of it. So you're walking on eggshells because of the consistent sense that what you have done is not right, that what you have done has caused discomfort here, and so it becomes a challenge. After a while, you really just want to avoid this person. Now, if that is a relationship that you need to have, whether it is family, church, work, but how do you live in a situation now where you really want to avoid? So you're a victim then. So that's what I'm saying, that not only their victimhood, if you want to put it this way, now becomes a tool to victimize others, because everybody else is at you know, on a high alert, because you can't say the right thing. You can't say this. If the person is in the group, you have to be careful what conversations come up. It's challenging. So this is something that you have to look at as a serious problem, and to try then to help to build self-esteem. But as you do that, you might come across as thinking, so I'm not good enough. That's why you're trying to do this, etc. Hard one.
Right.
Hard one.
Right. Definitely. And so the truth be told, you see, again, as I've stated earlier, that we possibly, there's no quick fix in answering this question. So what do you do if you find yourself in a relationship with somebody who I'm going to go as far as to say this, who has what is called a paranoid personality disorder? What do you do? We're not going to answer that today, but we have the answer. We have something we can give you. Okay, the truth is we have something that we can give to you. Now, it's not a one-size-fits-all, folks, because it is heavily dependent from one relationship to the next. Okay, so in some relationships it not may work. In other relationships it can work. Alrighty. So even with that, how do you still still maintain your sanity? Not a good word, sorry. But how do you do that? But like I said, not today. We will do that our next time around. Notwithstanding, I'm certain that we have some folks on who can give great insight. So put it into the chat. Put it in the chat. Great insight and recommendations where these things are concerned. So please go ahead and put it into the chat. All righty. Our next point in discussing am I a victim or a victimizer in my relationship is the fact that if you feel like you're a victim, the truth is you do not have any energy to continue. That's just the honest to goodness truth. And I'm saying again, understandably so. I'm not saying you are right or you're wrong. I'm just saying understandably so. Okay? Why bother? Change will not happen. And I have a little cartoon right here. So that sometimes, people just sometimes also one-track minded. And they just keep on going in one direction, even if the direction in which they are traveling is going to bring loss to their own lives, but kill them dead. Excuse the term. This is the way it must go. And thank God you have one person who says, actually no, because sometimes we can follow the mass. Yes, sometimes we can follow the mass and make up our mind that listen. And this way for go, because I'm tired. Some person can't be wrong about this person or about this situation. So you know what happened? Hey, if enough person says so, you must go, then we'll go. Thank God you do have a voice of difference, who's seen different contexts and have different experiences and say, hey, no, I don't have to follow. Seriously, I don't have to follow. I don't have to follow, right? Sometimes being the black sheep has its advantage. Some persons in their relationship feel victimized because they do not see or even anticipate any change inside. As far as they're concerned, why am I going to spend another year? Why, Mr. Counselor, should I spend another month inside of this relationship? Haven't I shown you all the different instances in which this person continued to behave a particular way? I mean, I show you one. I've given you up to 500 examples. Where do you come off to tell me someone must still understand the person context? Where do you come off even having that conversation with me, Mr. Counselor? Really and truly, he who feels it knows it. And I am trying to share with you not only my feelings, my experiences, and rather than understanding my context, and try to give me, try to protect me, try to say to me, run. Because that's what I'm also know. Every time we feel hurt and victimized, our first instinct is to run, 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 cover yourself, protect yourself, put up the dukes, whatever, you know. You can stay there, take it, yeah, idiot, and we call people names and everything like that. Sometimes we don't stop to understand their circumstances, though. Sometimes we don't stop to understand their circumstances. All right. Notwithstanding, what we are equally stating here is that they are convinced that their spouse or their spouse will never change after years of trying to change him or her. No change for them is an unfortunate reality that contributes to their frustration, that contributes to their unhappiness in an institution where they are being punished or imprisoned. And I was careful to write when I'm writing these things in what I stated here, and that is so true. A lot of folks says, listen, you understand or something that I feel like I'm going to continue to be punished. You know, mean me no good, man. You couldn't mean me no good. Yeah, So I say, what about the children, and what about, and we have all different reasons that we want to give people, and maybe rightly so. Don't get me wrong, maybe rightly so. Why they should stay and bear it out. So the person who feels like they are the victim, they're like, listen, you're bread butter on two sides. As for me, no, I'm not going to stay into this relationship that is not healthy to me and healthy for me, because look at the insurmountable abuse that I have been getting. So what do I do? What says you? So when we come back, we're going to have a conversation around questions like those. Okay? Next point. The need to control our outcome. The need to control our outcome. There is a common saying, and it goes something like this, that life does not come with our terms and conditions. Unfortunately, this common saying is not a common belief. It seems quite evident that we are creatures of habits, and if so, it makes us inclined to become resistant to change. If we are resistant to change, then we will push back, which may place us in either feeling victimized or becoming the victimizer. Therefore, to make us less susceptible to becoming victims or a victimizer, folks, would necessitate that we move with the cheese. But guess what happened? Or be prepared to adjust to change. Why? Because change will happen. Sometimes we feel like we are the victims because things just not going the way I want it to go. I am upset. I'm tired of putting this in place. I am tired of being very clear and forthright about what I expect in and from this relationship. I talk till a week, and every time, as far as I'm concerned, I just feel like you're taking me for granted now. I just feel like you're taking me for granted. Enough is enough. Okay? Because when I look down the road, since I don't see any change forthcoming, and obviously the means of controlling my outcome is being taken away from me, then what do I do? Why should I stay in a relationship that when I look down the road, it's not going to work out for me? Why? So many times, a lot of times, people not only think like that, but because they do not see that where they seem to have a handle on managing and ensuring their future or their outcome, many times folks says, hey, now I must admit quite a number of times do people give up too easily or too soon. They give up too easily, so they use their present situation to make to broad brush and make conclusive decision making about what the future is going to look like, when that, folks, might not be a healthy way to go about and do so. Just to say, Brother Smith, you have anything you want to say?
I have a question. I have a big question for you, sir.
Go ahead.
How much of this has to do with our behavioral preferences or mindset? In other words, so I am in a relationship and I want things to happen this way. This is the path that I see that I want, and you don't see it this way. And is that because then I am wed to my things? If you want to call it the Jamaican own way, I have my own way. I wanted the things my way. If you are not seen and we're going to have this problem all the time, then maybe I should just go somewhere else. Is that part of it as well? Which is very
that's a
I want to control with this. In other words, we're going here, but I want us to go travel by taxi and you want to walk or whatever. I don't. It might not even be the destination. It could also just be the method, the approach that we're going to take to achieve where we want to go. And I want to control it. Where we want to eat, I want to eat here, you want to eat. It's just, so because I am so wed to having my way or wanting my way, there's a constant tussle. And after a while, I can't bother. Because
and so you have both persons now, literally. The person who is pushing, who says, listen, I'm sorry, this is just who I am. I'm sorry, this is just who I am, right? And you're trying to change me. So since this is just who I am and you're trying to change me, then listen. I feel victimized because I am not going to give in, because this is just who I am. So they feel like they are the victims because the other person is saying, but I don't want to go down that way. And I don't want to travel there, so. And I don't want, and other. So that's why I mentioned earlier that as soon as there's pushback,
yeah,
the next one said, I'm a victim.
Yeah.
I feel victimized because there is pushback, right? And this is why I keep on saying these subject matters need a whole lot more of dialoguing and not just any kind of quick fix, especially as far as our. So put your case inside there, put your examples, put your questions right there into the chat. We're going to think there. I guess today is just whetting your appetite or maybe frustrate you. Sorry.
One of the things I want to say about that same control thing is that I don't know. I don't want to bring gender into the thing, but one of the things is that him too hard is now listen. He won't listen, and the question that you have to ask is it that he's not listening, or is it that he is not doing what you want him to do? So the control don't have to be, you'll be surprised where the control comes from. A lot. It might come from what you might call, the person who seemed to be more submissive, as against that one that seemed to be more dominant. So it's like a flexing where you're using the guilt again to control, because you want this to happen and it's not happening, and big problems come out of that.
One more thing I want to, in answering a part of your question, or maybe I don't know if I will be able to answer it, but I'm going to use the word the personality profile, where even that person that says, listen, my decision determines my destiny, not yours. And so I am in charge of what's going to happen to my life. You're either going to come on board with me or you jump ship. But I am going in this direction. You decide if you want to come. One. The next thing that I want to add to that now is also the person who says, I need a particular goal. I have a particular goal and objective where my life is concerned. And right now, the direction that I am going, you, unfortunately, you're not as supportive as I want you to be. So because you're not as supportive as I want you to be, then in this case, I am the victim here. What if the other person said, but I had another direction too, and I too want you to support me. So I want us to see where unless we get some good negotiating skills, that everybody is going to cry out and say, I am the victim where this relationship is concerned. I too have my right. And that's how we started. But you pushed me too, and you did this to me too. Everybody seemed to be clamoring for their right. For their right. I have my right. And why should I give up my right so that you come out good and I suffer as a result of that? So the questions, the complaints, they continue, folks. And not only continue, they continue to plague a number of our relationships in different aspects, I should say, of our relationships. Okay, they move on again. Give you something else to bother your mind, so to speak. Lack of trust. Am I the victim or the victimizer in my relationship, in my marriage? Lack of trust. What we can say, there's a song. There's a song, you see. It's a, if you run down your shadow now, you will never catch it. And sorry to put in the gender thing too, but the gentleman who was singing the song, he says, never make a woman know how much you love her, for there will be no peace in your life. And I'm just saying, wow, I don't know how is it that song became a hit. Literally, it became a hit in Jamaica here, and you're like, wow, how comes? Did we stop to listen to the song, to the lyrics, to the message of the song? And so the truth be told, when you look at our lives, generally speaking, trust is such a big thing, an important aspect in the relationship. But the truth is, the honest to goodness truth is, I really, really wonder if a lot of couples really, really, really trust them one another, honestly speaking. Or when the other person don't do something to cause you to think differently. So a lot of folks says, I trust you now, but I don't trust you in everything. Right? And once them start to tell you, by the way, what are some of those things that they don't trust you into? You're like, whoa, but that's supposed to be a deal breaker. You heard me, folks. When they start to tell you some of the things that they don't trust you in, that is supposed to be a deal breaker. So how comes we are having this relationship? I mean, how did we even reach right here in this relationship? When in inquiring as to what are some of the things you do not trust me about, when did that start? From morning, at the summer stay, I always have trust issues, and then you justify not trusting me because you always have trust issues. I mean, how is it that our relationship reached this far? When in truth and in fact, you see, folks, there's no trust. Or the foundation that is supposed to be laid so that we can build on it, really and truly, is very, very wobbly, so to speak. It is not a good foundation. And yet people build mansions on these foundations. Trust is an integral aspect. But the truth be told, trust in each other gives us strength and vitality to our relationship. It gives us inner happiness which is priceless. It brings joy all around, and life appears brighter and even brighter. Trust keeps us in the positive mental framework. It keeps us in the what? In a positive mental, you have it right there, mental framework. And so when you trust each other, you feel self-confident. That's what happens when we trust each other. It not only provides a sense of security, but provides a new zeal to fight the unpredictable changes of life or in life. And so trust is probably the most important ingredient in building an intimate relationship between a husband and a wife. I'd want to say in any relationship that we're going to have with people, we have to learn to trust them. No, I'm not saying that we must be naive, although oftentimes we use that word to interfere with trusting people. Say it again, Andre. Oftentimes we use that word to what? Interfere with our trust in people. As a matter of fact, we use that word it's really a camouflage for our own paranoia. It's really a camouflage for our own suspicions. For we are the ones who really have the problem, and then label our partners. So we are the person oftentimes who have the issue with trust. Sometimes we don't trust ourselves. So if I can't trust myself, how can I bring myself to trust you? And so therefore, we, even when our partners, they didn't do anything wrong, we put ourselves into a position of feeling victimized. Why? Because guess what happened? I'm sorry, I can't trust you. And not only I can't trust you, but we start to create expectations in and from our partners that is quite unreasonable. Expectation in and from our partner that is quite unreasonable, because we are the ones who have been victimized, or feel we have victimized ourselves because we literally have the trust issue, and then by extension now make demands of our partners that really and truly is quite out of this world. So for some partners, might as well walk up and down with a mic on them or a camera, because that's the only way they can be at ease and at peace with the other person, because there's just a constant suspicion of, so where you go now, so where you know, so who you talking, so where, so I mean, you're always on the defense, or you're in court almost. Okay, so trust, it is so important that we understand that when we fail to trust, how it is really interrupting the relationship. Without trust, again, as we say, you are headed for an abusive relationship. You are either suspecting or inspecting your partner, or the husband is suspecting or inspecting his partner. And so that everybody is suspecting and inspecting, which then leads us to our next point. Folks.
I have to slow you down, boss.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Because this whole issue of trust goes beyond even, as I say, the marriage relationship. But trust is what keeps the society going. That is why, we go to the bank and they give us a piece of paper, and we carry it and give it to a shopkeeper, and then give us some flour. That's trust.
Mm-hmm.
That's, in other words, what I'm saying, trust is fundamental to existence. Problem with lack of trust comes from, I think, a desire to protect ourselves. And that's good. That's part of our socialization. I suppose that's how we are created, is to self-preservation. And that's one of the reasons why people really just don't want to be hurt emotionally, is this where the trusting comes in. So As a result of that, we build up barriers. We put all sort of protective hedges around ourselves to make sure that we never ever get hurt. But as we know, that protection is still not enough. So instead of, as you say, it does impact healthy relationships. There's no question. Wherever there's a lack of trust, whether it is in a team, if you're playing football and I don't trust my goalkeeper, I'm going to a paranoid. I'm not going to play as well because I don't want anybody to, I don't want to pass to this man because I don't think he's going to score. Trust is critical to all existence. And until we are prepared to risk it, to say, well, okay, fine, let me try. Let me make myself vulnerable. I am willing to be hurt in order to advance this relationship, in order to make things better. I don't think that we're going to get very far. So that desire to be overly protective, so super sensitive that we build up every barrier to try to protect ourselves from being hurt, it stifles relationships.
Definitely.
That's give ourselves fully. In other words, I am going to have this relationship with you, but I'm not fully letting you in. I am not actually going to, allow myself to be so tied to you that I could be hurt. And so actually what happens then is that you have like a halfway house kind of relationship because the parties are holding back for fear that somebody might hurt them. Have people like that who never ever really enter into a long-term relationship because as soon as the things start to get serious, I'm not sure, suppose this one hurt me, whatever, I don't want to be hurt. And so you kind of hold back and the other person is kind of feeling, is this right? Maybe this is not so right. And they walk away. And so you have this kind of serial half possibility relationship, but never ever a long-term lasting relationship where you're going. And you just know that whatever happens, you're in for the long haul. That's a thought. Sorry.
No, man. Excellent. Good stuff. Good stuff. My next point. Let's go to the next point. Remember, putting your information inside there. Share your solutions or some things that share it. I'm not saying that because you share it, it's going to necessarily be accepted. But I'm just saying, put it there because we're going to have dialogue in where these things are concerned. Again, maybe not today, but the next time we meet, for sure. Okay, Secret Service agent. Secret Service agent. And it comes under the umbrella of the same trusting again. But sometimes we contribute to being victimized because we are have become overtly private. We have become what, folks? Overtly private. If in your judgment, you're convinced that your partner does not have a right to know, I call it ARK, A-R-K, then the doors of suspicion will be open. You see, sometimes, when you were dating and everything, everybody know everybody's business. It's amazing. But then after you get married and things, everybody just get private. The phone, especially the phone. One person thinks, the phone get him in a problem or mash up in marriage or something like that. I remember. But what I'm saying here, right? We phone. All of a sudden, no boy, when you answer your phone, you have to go outside. One time, you can't answer your phone right this, your phone ring right, which you have to sit down with your partner, right this, phone is not, and your phone ring right this. But no, man, you have to say, you say hello, and you look at it first, and you walk away, and then say hello. And then words on top of it, say, hello. And I said, when did you become a Secret Service agent and your partner never know? So you have that job there. It's just a question. When did, and then you wonder why. And that's all I'm saying. Sometimes we put ourselves in, we create atmospheres and situations that really and truly is we cause the suspicion on ourselves. So we now feel, you know, I'm my own big man. You know, you can't do more for do, and they will start become defensive and rude to each other, because now all of a sudden now space is more important to us than anything else. Can I give him space? Can I give him space? And I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying those things are incorrect. No, don't get me wrong, you know. But all I'm just kind of saying here, it's amazing. When did you join this service and nobody knew that you had a new job description, so to speak? Okay, so it is therefore recommended for you to be ready and willing to furnish information before being asked, coerced, or demanded. If on several occasions information is not forthcoming, then your partner may feel that you have something to hide, which can affect trust. Therefore, the eagerness then, folks, to share, and maybe this is one of those that I am sharing giving the recommendation up front, and we have done some already, but the eagerness to share the many facets of your life with your partner most definitely will encourage trust. It will encourage security and stability in your relationship. It cannot be, folks, that if you continue to be so secretive, secret bank account, we call that financial infidelity, and secret this, and everybody, you know, it's like you're living in psychology, it's called an under-integrated lives in the marriage. You know, you're living your own life in the marriage. You're doing your own thing. Then when you come when the marriage, you know, and somebody says, yeah, but we are still individuals in the relationship. See, and we know that that's not the argument. But why are you pushing that argument? In your family, when you have your children, do you say that we're all individuals inside you, or do you kind of recognize that when we get eat together, there's no family? While you're individuals, yes, but everybody must feel like a family. Must feel like a family. It must feel like a relationship. You know, it must feel like a relationship. That's all I'm saying. And so when everybody does have their own thing, then I mean, that relationship is so where's the connection? Where's the vulnerability? Where's the trust? Because in relationship, you need connection, you need vulnerability, yes, and definitely trust. And definitely trust. So be careful that you don't, you know, have a new job description and you don't tell your partner about it. And so when your partner see that you're doing certain things, rather than your partner say, no, man, you start move wide and start to, you know, think that the possibility exists that you have another person, you're involved with someone else and all those things, rather than them going there. Okay, I'm saying just be forthright. Just be forthright. Just come clean. Just share. Just say, hey, no, nothing. You know, nothing. I'm in the same job. I don't have a new work, so to speak. Any comments on that, Brother Smith?
No, we're good. We're good.
Okay. All righty, let's move on to the next one. By the way, how are we doing on time? Ooh, maybe we should stop right here. Anyway, we'll soon finish this. Soon finish. The unwillingness to forgive, to forget. We can put ourselves or allow ourselves to feel like victims in relationships because, folks, we carry too much belly, man. Yes, man. We remember too much bad. I say it again. We remember too much bad experiences. And remember those bad experiences so much that it stifles the relationship that we need to have. We literally don't give ourselves a good chance to have a good relationship going forward. Why? Because we have too many baggages. As the picture kind of see right there, sometimes one person all right, but the next one, them heart coming like, it's like a snake run it, I bite it out and drink the blood. Right? And it comes out in what they're sharing with other people about you. And when they're sharing with other people about you, clearly, they are the victims. It's who have the bitterness against you. Them, and you are walking away so clean. And you're like, hey, and by the way, I'm not saying that because you're clean, But there are oftentimes, we are saying here, oftentimes you have people hug you with a knife in them hand, ready for stab in your back, so to speak, because they still carry grudges. And it comes out in things that they say to you. They said, no man, they may laugh and say, yes man, yeah, man, I'm a friend that what up. When you're in your circle and outside of that, man, they say, listen. Or if you do something and somebody come and confide in them about you, they say, I'm if you tell you, and then them start. and thank God you never know. So somebody said, no man, I don't want to know. Well, like I said, thank God you never know. I'm saying, folks, they have made themselves victims also, folks. Sometimes in situations like these, they have made themselves victims. When you forgive someone who did you wrong, you drop it, you forget it, and you cease to dwell on the offense and even on the offender. That's if you're prepared to forgive, though. Unforgiveness, on the other hand, locks you onto the other person. You are not free. The poison of bitterness continues to flow within you. And so we are tied to the person we despise and cannot get away from the tormenting thoughts and emotions. You can't sleep because of what they did or should have done. They never come and say them sorry. Imagine that. Them break my heart and they never come and say them sorry. You must be mad. The Bible says, bring forth fruits, words of repentance. Me now forgive until me see the fruits. You have to show me. You must be crazy. Some continue to remain bitter to you. I'm not even over here with my arms open wide to see if you'll come back. No, sir. Me lock my door and put guard outside too. So you definitely can't come back here. I'm saying here, look at the pain that we put ourselves through, folks. When we don't have a forgiving spirit, look at the pain we put ourselves through. Okay, and so sometimes we have become our own victimizers because there's not a willingness to forgive. We didn't not even get in touch. Forget. I'm just talking the forgive part. Well, look at touch it then, because sometimes we say, see it. I will forgive, but I will never forget. I will, so we start out, I'll forgive and listen to how we raise our voice, our passion grow on the part that, but I will never forget. That louder than everything else in our sentence. Why? Because we want to make the person know, say, no, sir, I keep this one here. But you know what is my question to people who have that mindset? Look at what you're trying to remember. Look at what you're trying to remember in your relationship with this person. Look at what you're trying to remember. It's not something good enough that can help you with the process of forgetting enough. No, that's why you're right and will never forget. Or you forget. You never forget. Because you are going to make certain the serpent stay right on your heart. Hug it up. Is there a comment to come?
We have dealt with this so many times. I just have one question to ask. Anybody who is listening, what is it that they did at 11:25 yesterday? Just if they can just tell us what it is that they did 25 yesterday. And so if you know exactly what you did, then
Thumbs up.
you can't forget.
That's right.
Can't, then you can forget. Just decide.
Excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. I tell people, that forgetting is a part of our DNA. Okay, so it's a no-brainer that we can't forget. But all I'm saying, look at what you're trying to remember, folks. By refusing to forgive, restore and encourage a repentant person, we allow a broken relationship to remain unresolved. Forgiveness helps to cultivate mercy and graciousness in you, the victim, and by extension, the victimizer. It is important that we really make a conscientious effort to learn to forgive. Yes, nobody is saying that to do so is easy. There are some atrocities that, believe you me, it's not a walk in the park. It's really not a walk in the park to do. But, it's a perspective. That's all I can say. Perspective really, really, really go a long way in helping people to manage their pain. I'll say it again. Perspective, it goes a long way in helping people to manage their pain. Okay? Is it the person who wants to forgive? The person who really wants to forgive will put in the work to do so, as against the other person who says, this is what you need to do to release me to forgive you. This is what you need to do to release me to forgive you. To that person, I say, is the other person still control you, Is the other person still control you? You have a comment before we move on?
I don't think we can move on. I think we have to
Okay, that's what time?
Yeah, on this one, so that we can just leave it in case there.
All right, no problem. Excellent.
I just want to go back to the forgiveness thing and to think about it from the other, because some people in the chat were just saying, what if you are the victim and, forgiving and so on. Remember, we have done so many of these, even in the sermons or in whatever. And one of the things that we emphasize is that you need to look at forgiveness as not something that you're doing for the other person, but for yourself. Again, we go back to the medical science that shows that forgiveness is your benefit. The scriptures tell us that. So don't think about forgiveness in terms of doing something for the person. It is yourself when it's a gift to you. Medical science indicates that holding unforgiveness is a major cause of ill health, even down into cancer, all sorts of challenges, etc. So when you actually do it, and as you say, when you have unforgiveness in your heart, then the person is controlling you. You can't move forward, you can't do a lot of things. If you were to let it go, then what you're doing is that you're giving yourself a gift. So stop thinking about the other person, think about you. Why would I have this person have control over me? Why don't I just let it go? What is the interesting point about this forgiveness thing is? And I like the image that you have here, is that it is that you are stewing and the other person is not even, they don't have you in their minds. They're not, you don't even, it's not an issue. They might don't even remember you. And here it is that you are having all of these problems, giving yourself ill health. No, man, give yourself a gift, forgive. That's what I would like to say. So, we have 5 minutes, so we don't have to definitely. Let me just be clear about the next date is on the what's that? It's 3rd of April. 3rd of April, we will be having our next session. Oh, that is the Easter weekend. All right, so this is Saturday before Easter Monday. So we want to have the session. We are at 6:30. And then if you have any quick questions, Brother Andre, can you just look through the chat if you see anything that you want to respond to? We can just ask anybody. continue in marriage
let
after
me try and respond to this last one. But the truth is, it would be unfair since there are so many
before, right?
questions that came before. But we don't have the time. But what we have been saying over and over is that today is just an introduction to, and and we will start with trying to answer all of those questions as best as possible in our next session. And this is why we crave for you to come back. We still don't finish. We have some other stuff, but that's okay. We'll start off with some questions and finish with slide. And if it means that we have to go a third week, then a third time, then we will do so. But definitely. But let me just quickly transfer so we can do something with this one here. What was it again? It was saying something about how do you continue?
Yeah, if you can continue in marriage after forgiveness. Where it is now. How does one continue in a marriage even after forgiveness is done?
Okay, well, I mean, it all depends on the on where you are. You know, I mean, you see, when you forgive the person, if you decide that you want to change the rules of engagement so that you can feel safe going forward into the relationship, then by all means you can go ahead and do so. So remember, what I said, change the rules of engagement, and the changing or establishing the rules of engagement, what that does is to an extent protect you, because the possibility exists that the person may still need to grow some more. Maybe they may have other challenges, and so you might forgive them, but they have not grown from it. In other words, they are going to become susceptible to the same atrocity again. Okay, so I'm saying to you now that to continue the relationship, one may need to establish rules of engagement to protect yourself, if that is the decision you have made. So that's how I'll answer that one. Okay, we can stop right here.
So we just want to say, we just want to say thanks. Want to turn over to one of our administrators, hopefully. Again, I just want to share that, as you can see, a nice meal is prepared every time, and invite others. If you have benefited from this, then let others know about it. We meet on the 1st and the 3rd Saturdays of every month, and it's at 6:30. We're going to share the link and so on in a little while. But we do look at issues that are relevant. And that's something else that you can do as well. If you have a challenge that you believe that needs to be addressed, let us know and we can actually set it up. So the next date is April 3. April 3, 6:30. I'm not sure if our administrators are there. If not, then let me double down and seek to. All right. So this is our little commercial. This series is presented by the St. Andrew Church of Christ. We meet at 77 Radius Road. And of course, now we also meet online. And this very same link that you are using here works with the same password. So we meet tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. For our worship service, and we have our Bible class session at 11:15. So we also meet on Tuesday evening at 6:30 for our midweek Bible class. I'm going to ask you to do something. Please, even just once, just attend our midweek Bible class at 6:30. And don't worry whether you are into big Christianity or where you worship or what. Just attend one of these sessions. to see a difference. It's amazing in terms of interactivity, in terms of fun, and how this thing goes around. It's a revelation. So just for the experience, maybe you want to see how you can actually organize an online session, etc. Amazing stuff. But we also learn. Sorry, we also learn stuff. So that's what we want to do. We want to ask you to join us and invite others. Let me just look. I think I see some chat. Maybe just people saying thanks, etc. Right. That's where we go. So thank you very much. And that's it. See you tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. And again, try the Tuesday night. Just it's at 6:30. We start on time, and you'll be out at 8 o'clock. And then, as an Easter treat, we're going to answer some of your questions. Right? So it's the day after Good Friday. So you know, right? That we will meet. Thank you, and
Thank you.
How can I get the recording to listen to the second?
Here we go. Good, good, good. So here it is. If you go to St. Andrew Church of Christ, slash, you need a backslash there.
Okay.
Media. St. Andrew Church of Christ.
Backslash media.
Media. Yep. There we go.
Okay.
The forward slash. You know the right slash.
Yeah.
All right. So that's it. And I don't know I don't remember the other one. There's a I think it's Simply Christians at Simply Christian JA on Facebook. That's just out of the top of my head. I don't know. But I know the Center and the Church of Christ one works. / media.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Thank you for participating. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you so much. Lots of great information for the
Thank
family.
you.
Yeah. Really appreciate it.
Thanks.
Right, thanks. Brilliant session with Brother Andre. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Learned a lot here. Some homework that I have to go do now.
Just the music that you guys know and stay after.